President Obama has changed direction on the detainee abuse photos. The White House will now try to block the court-ordered release of thousands of Bush-era photos. Now, the photos show detainees being abused at U.S. prisons in Iraq and Afghanistan. Now, the president changed his mind after listening to the generals, told him that they were concerned about the possible retaliation against the troops. Take a listen.
The publication of these photos would not add any additional benefit to our understanding of what was carried out in the past by a small number of individuals. In fact, the most direct consequence of releasing them, I believe, would be to further inflame anti-American opinion and to put our troops in greater danger. Moreover, I fear the publication of these photos may only have a chilling effect on future investigations of detainee abuse.
Some people may view this as a real flip-flop. For more on that, let's bring in Congressman Joe Sestak of Pennsylvania. Congressman, former admiral, you agree with the president's move on this?
I have a bit of a hard time with this decision, but I would accept it for a temporary pause in the release for one primary reason. He's been dealt a very weak hand on Pakistan, which is close to being a failed state, where the Taliban are hiding and where nuclear weapons could soon be loose nukes with Taliban in control. I remember how the Danish newspapers published those photographs that were insulting to the Islamic faith. I would accept that at this precarious kind for national security, not for the protection of our troops, because our troops were already endangered by the notices that we did torture, but rather not to inflame a very precarious situation, what The Economist has rightly called the most dangerous place in the world, and therefore our interest, a temporary pause. But just like I believe there needs to be an exit strategy measuring success and failures and by benchmarks for Afghanistan, there should be an exit strategy for the release of these eventually, because only then can we hold up a mirror to ourselves and once again say, that's not who we are. We are better than that.
Congressman, this is a reversal by the president, and you say you struggle with it, and you wanted to, you want these released. I mean, this is what the president campaigned on: full disclosure. Do you think it will be temporary, or do you think it'll be permanent?
Right now, it does not appear to be temporary, but that's what I would advocate. Look, eventually Americans have always gone around the world and been supportive of textbooks, let's say in Japan, that did not reveal how they did things in Korea and were misinformation during World War II. If we are going around the world saying that to others, how can we not hold it up to ourselves? But for national security reasons, temporarily, at a very delicate moment, because it is the fire closest to the sled, so to speak, Pakistan, I could hold off, but I believe it needs to be released eventually. And you know, Ed, these photographs are not even as bad as Abu Ghraib and others. We know that.
Yeah. Well, I think the American people want full disclosure on this. I think a lot of people were taken by surprise. Let's talk about Dick Cheney. Has the former vice president, in your opinion, gone too far? I mean, we didn't hear the Clinton folks. We didn't hear Al Gore and Bill Clinton out there, you know, Monday morning quarterbacking after we got hit on September 11th, because we were hit on the Clinton watch of the World Trade Center back in 1993. I'm troubled by the fact that he's lowered the bar. From a military experience that you have as an admiral, what's your take on this? Has he gone too far?
As I've said before, Ed, when a captain has left a ship that he was in command of, he did not look back and critique the next captain who was responsible for leading into harm's way that crew. I believe former Vice President Cheney has a due responsibility to the office of the Vice Presidency and the office of the Presidency that he worked with and was part of to say, wait a moment, this is a moment where if he does want to, in a thoughtful way, but not a way that criticizes to such an extent that he actually says our president, with no due evidence, has led us to be less secure today. That, to me, is more concerned about his personal legacy than it is about the future of America. He has gone too far in this criticism, way too far.
And are you willing to tell the American people that we are safe tonight, just as safe as we were in the last administration? Operationally, we're doing the same things?
We are much, I believe, have taken a gigantic step by re-engaging in the world, by having properly redeployed from Iraq and putting our focus rightfully on Pakistan, where Afghanistan is, to assist us to solve the problem of al-Qaeda having a safe haven. Look, Ed, when you look back over the last 8 years and see that an economy of ours, our economic security, was placed in President Obama's hand in a state of disarray, when you saw that al-Qaeda has a safe haven in Pakistan, and when you see that our army can't deploy anywhere else in the world because of the low state of readiness of having been in that tragic misadventure of Iraq, that is where we became a less secure America. No, we are taking the proper steps to reclaim. And that's why this issue on the pictures is important.
It is.
Because the power of idea, when I went everywhere in this world in the Navy, we were recognized and had respect for the power of our military and the power of our economy, but we were admired for the power of our ideals.
The moral high ground.
You got it. And it matters, Ed. It matters.
Congressman, great to have you on with us tonight.
Thanks,
Congressman
Ed.
Joe Sestak, retired Admiral, United States Navy, now in the United States Congress, representing those in Pennsylvania. Thanks so much.